Hello, welcome to the video. I'm going to be testing Elden Ring on my 4070 Ti Super. I'm going to be doing it at 4K at first, so we've got that set here. I'm also going to have all the graphics settings maxed out, so we've got ray tracing set to the maximum here. Then we've got all the other graphics settings also set to the maximum. So some of those settings go to high, some of them go to maximum, so we've got motion blur off, and then that's the rest of the settings there, so let's have a look at that. Right, so it's looked like we're getting about 65 to 70 FPS here, which is actually kind of impressive. I wasn't sure if we were going to get 60 or not. Definitely probably going to be some areas it dips under, I think. There you go. And I think if I remember right, my 4090 had about 75 to 80, so... I know obviously those can't be compared, but just to kind of put it into perspective, probably about 30 FPS average off of the 4090. You know, it handles it fairly well. I mean, VRAM's pretty low. It's not an issue. Power. This is the lowest I've seen the power on the 4070 Ti Super. Sitting at about 220. Hadn't seen it go below 240, I think, previously. So, it isn't quite holding that 60 FPS and the low as well. 0.1% low of 9 FPS, so we're getting a little bit of just stutter every now and then. I need to remember the controls to this. I think I remember. Well, it looks like I remember. I've dropped all the graphics settings to high, so we're still at 4K. But I've got ray tracing quality set to high here instead of maximum, and that's also the same for all the other settings. So obviously the ones that go to maximum I've set to high, and then some of the other ones were already high and they've just stayed high. So with a bit of luck, we hopefully won't see it drop down under 60 so much. I do think it will potentially in some bits still drop under 60 a little bit, but hopefully it just won't happen near as much. It is still stuttering for me. You can see that in the frame time there. I think that overall just having ray tracing on at all seems to... what's happening here? It seems to just increase the stuttering that I get. The lows. It gives me a really poor low. Alright, I'm going to try this. I'm really quite shocking at the fighting in this. They've got shields though. Just go, you know, just go all out. I'm now going to take a look with ray tracing off. So we're still at 4K. We've got that here. And then we've got ray tracing quality set to off here. And then the rest of the graphics settings are still maxed out. So we should see a significant improvement to frame rate, which it looks like we are over 100 FPS here. I'm going to have to run around this thing. Hopefully it doesn't attack me. I will check out the other area as well, because I think the other area with forests and... Oh my god. What? Well. So it's a big difference with ray tracing off. You're looking at like a 40 to 50 FPS. We had about 60, didn't we? And here we're getting almost 110. So yeah, when we look at this area here, it's definitely harder to run in this area, down to 80. Still a big improvement from what we'd have with ray tracing on. So you're still probably looking at a 40 FPS. I'd say with ray tracing on here, you're probably getting closer to 40, 45, so... Still nicely above 60, though. And we've got power around about 250, 255, so that's up a little bit from what we had. But it's still not too bad. VRAM as well. VRAM's actually maybe it's either similar or maybe slightly less. It should be less, obviously, with ray tracing off. But I don't think it's, you know, it's not massive or anything. Not a massive difference between the two. Have a little look around and stuff. Wondering if the stuttering and the lows are any better with ray tracing off. I did see a frame time spike. So we've got a 0.1% low of 26. That's obviously better than what we had with ray tracing on, but See if it's stuttering as much. Doesn't look like it is. And yeah, like I was saying, I really don't think this game provides enough of a ray tracing difference in terms of the way the game looks. It definitely does look different, but is it worth 40 FPS in this game? I really don't think it is. I'm going to take a look at 1440p now, so I've got that set here. All the graphics settings are maxed out, so we've got ray tracing quality set to the maximum, and then the rest of the graphics settings are also maxed out. So it's looking like we're up to about 100 FPS here, so we're up by about 40 FPS by the looks of it. Probably looking at like in a range of between 30 and 40 FPS, I think. So if we go down here, probably going to get a dip down. Yeah, 90, maybe mid-80s potentially in some bits. Which is still about a 30 to 40 FPS increase from where we'd be at 4K with the same settings. So easily doable with everything maxed out at 1440p at least. This is that big boss. I do not want anything to do with that. VRAM at least looks like we're about 5 gigs, so it's down probably a gig and a half. And even power's down as well, under 200 watts. See if it dips down much. Still getting between the 80 and 90. Really dipped down too much. And my lows are also looking a lot better. Not getting the same stuttering I was getting at 4K with these settings. We've got a 0.1% lower 46. Where at 4K we had that dipping down to like 10 and it was also noticeably stuttering. Haven't seen it stutter. Which is good. I'm now going to take a look with ray tracing off, so I'm still at 1440p, and you can see ray tracing quality here set to off. All the other graphics settings are still maxed out, so we should get some pretty incredible frames doing this. The only issue I've got is I've had to manually uncap. I've modded the FPS to uncap it from 60 in the game, and then I've also had to disable VSync and set the frame rate to 1000 to be able to get it to not cap it at my monitor refresh rate, so I don't know how much this will break the game, but still going to just take a quick look at it anyway. I know games like this, same as Skyrim and Fallout as well, they're normally capped at 60, and I think some of the game mechanics and stuff can break if you uncap it. I haven't particularly noticed anything breaking, but... So it seems like our average here is about 140. I'm getting dips down here to about 120, 130. This bit here, though, seems pretty heavy, so the fact it's doing almost... You know, it's sitting around 130. That's decent. I'm now going to take a look at 1080p, so we've got that set here. We've got all the graphics settings maxed out, so we've got ray tracing quality set to maximum, and all the other settings are set to the max as well. So it looks like we're getting around about 100 FPS here, as we're running around here. I'm not sure that there's probably going to be many people running 1080p on this GPU. It seems like a lot of money to spend just to play 1080p. There are a lot better options out there, but I thought I'd just take a quick look anyway whilst I'm checking the game. Definitely going to get some dips though, I think, if we go to the forest here. So you're seeing it dip down to 60. So obviously at the other resolutions here would be definitely quite a bit under 60. So you're looking at somewhere in the range of between 60 FPS and maybe 120. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the graphics card so far, and I'll catch you next time.